Hey everybody, what's up? This is Devin and LaVore coming at you from another different location. And a huge thank you to those who give to us. We live by what you give. That's for real. Man, we've been struggling big time for like over a month, but God has been sustaining us, you know. The Lord will just keep sending things in our way, and it's just like, but we still feel like we're like barely above water. So if you want to give to us, there are links below. There are Cash App, Venmo, and links, PayPal links below. Huge thank you to those who have given to us recently, without us casting any nets or anything. You guys just give. We just really appreciate it. And yeah. So if you want to give, the links are below. We appreciate everything. And so here's an interesting word I feel like the Lord gave to me. And it almost takes me back to 30 years because I heard a similar message like it before. But I just felt like the Lord put this on my heart. And sometimes the Lord, a little sidebar here, sometimes the Lord puts things on the hearts of prophetic people that they don't even understand. And that's fine. That's okay. Because that's just the way it works. But I just felt like the Lord said to me this message, and it was like, why are you still holding on to that thing? And you would say to yourself, well, Lord, you're the one who led me. You're the one who led me to this. And you're the one who clearly manifested yourself in a way that you were doing stuff here, and you were moving, and you moved me to do this, and you moved me to do that. And then the Lord took me to Samuel. And it's like, yes, Samuel would have that same testimony. He was still hanging on to Saul, hoping that Saul would be the king. It's like, well, Lord, you led me to anoint him, and you led me to do all these prophetic things for him. You led me to make this big banquet for him when he didn't even know he was getting ready to be the king. You led me to do all of that stuff. You were so involved. And now you're tearing the kingdom away from him. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is terrible. This is awful. This is like, how could it happen like this? You know? And the Lord said to Samuel when he was in his grief, he was like, look, buddy, why are you going to keep on being sad? I have rejected him. Fill up your horn of oil and go. I will anoint another. See, God has a job. He has this thing that he's trying to fulfill. And if Saul won't do it, then fine, he's got a David. Okay? Not that everything that God prophesied and spoke over Saul was absolutely the truth. It's just Saul would not cooperate or come into agreement with it. So God had to be like, okay, fine. You choose what you want to choose. You go do your thing. I'm going to go find someone to fulfill this position. It's the exact same thing that Mordecai knew about God when he said to Esther, listen, if you don't do it, God's going to get someone to do it because he's going to do a thing. And if he's not going to do the thing through you, then he's going to do it through someone else. It's going to happen. But he's put you in this position because he wants you to do it. You know, and she said, you know what, you're right, I'll do it. Right? And so, a lot of times God will lead us into certain situations and then they won't happen the way he wanted it to happen. We cannot judge that as, that must not have been God. That's your own reasoning and understanding getting in, decreeing what the truth is. It's like, no, the Lord, he showed me. He was like, Devin, even when I was on the earth, I experienced that. The Spirit of the Father would lead me here. That was his purpose, was to go. I was there to go and deliver his purpose. I did that, but they did not come into agreement with it. Or there were times when the Lord did that. There were times when he came and everybody came into agreement and received. And it was amazing, right? But then there are times when he went to a place, people didn't receive, and it didn't turn out the way he wanted it. And so he's like, hey, I gave you a chance. Consider the invitation to the banquet, the ultimate banquet, marriage supper of the Lamb. He said, I sent out all these invitations, but everyone that I invited kept saying, oh, you're not really worth my time. I got other better things to do. And he was offended and hurt. And he was like, fine, I'm just going to go get whoever I want. And as we know, biblically, historically speaking, that was the Gentiles, which I am one of. And we come to the Lord, and we are a part of his banquet, right? We actually love him and appreciate him. And he's like, yay. Because the bottom line is, I'm going to fill these seats. Who wants the seat? Who wants it? I'm going to invite you. And so a lot of times, I remember listening to prophetic people on this journey, like Chuck Pierce one time. He said there were times where he would go to a place, and he would go to a whole town, and he would prophesy the word of the Lord, and this is what the word of the Lord is saying. And he's like, and none of that stuff ever happened. Why? Because the people did not come into agreement with it. It didn't inspire their heart. Like, yes, we want this. They heard, but that's all they did. They just heard. They didn't want it. And so nothing happened, And when you start to research it and look at it biblically, you see, that's actually quite normal. But yet when it happens to us, we can tend to freak out and go, oh, it must have not have been the Lord. Because if it was the Lord, it would have happened exactly the way he said. No, not really. Not when it's an invitation. When God is inviting someone into something. We had an experience ourselves where there was a relationship that we had in our lives where God was constantly inviting this person into a new version of life, a new chapter, new everything. And it didn't happen instantaneously, and there was a process, and they were going through the process. God even brought people from outside of the circle into the circle and prophesied the exact same things we had been saying the whole time and all that stuff. And it didn't matter. It was like there was no cooperation. There was no real cooperation and getting up underneath, like, I'm going to just do what the Lord wants me to do. Of course, there's way more to a story than just what I'm synopsising here. But ultimately, it's like the things that God was prophesying and saying and decreeing and wanting to do didn't happen. There are times when God is moving in our life to do a thing. And then maybe we get afraid and we go, no. And you go running over here to do another thing. And then you wonder why the thing that God wanted for you didn't happen. I've had that happen to me one time. And it's like, why did I do this? Sometimes I go, why did I do that? Well, because I was afraid. And I just didn't, it was too real. And so I went some other direction, and God's like, why did you do that? I had this total divine appointment set up for you here, and you totally missed it, dude. Like, why would you do that? It's like, oh, Lord, can I have another chance? Nope. You see, that's not the Lord. The Lord wouldn't do that. God's a God of restoration. Yes, God is a God of restoration. But sometimes that thing that you missed out on, God can't restore for like 12 years. But he's God. He can. Yes, he can. But how would it benefit him? Like, if God did for you this restoration when you wanted it, how you wanted it, what if it cost 80 people their livelihood? Not their lives, but their livelihood. Would you still want it? You see what I'm saying? It's like, that's how God has to think about everything involved. And that's why timing of the Lord is so important, right? And so I just felt like the Lord was saying, like, hey, you are free to go. You are free to go. If God is, the Lord led you to this thing, but it is clear. I'm talking to some specific people here. It is very, very clear in your spirit that it is not working out. It is very, very clear in your spirit that whoever it is, whatever the opportunity was supposed to be, whatever it was, there's not a cooperation there, and so you are free to go. You have to let go. You have to let go of Saul. Fill up your horn, go and anoint David. And God will show you who David is. Even you don't know who David is, but he will show you. Be like, man, who is it? We all know the story. For those of us who know the scriptures well, we know that Samuel went. He was like, I'm going through all your sons. Ain't none of them here. Oh man, he could have seen out thinking like we do in our, at least in our American variety of Christianity. We'd be like, oh man, Samuel could have said, oh man, I guess this wasn't the Lord. I thought it was the Lord who said this, but maybe it wasn't. But no, he didn't think like that. He knew the Lord. He was like, no, the Lord sent me here. And it's like, you must have another son here somewhere because, oh, well, I mean, yeah, we do, but that's the other dude in the back. Him? You can't be thinking about him. Oh, you do have another son? Bring him here, please. And David shows up and the Lord's like, that's the one right there. Oh, it freaked even Samuel out. He was like, no way. For real? All right. Well, here we go. The Lord's anointed you, and we, et cetera, to be continued. And he went on to be one of the greatest kings in all of Israelite history. You know, little nobody boy from nowhere in the backwoods taking care of sheep. You know what I'm saying? I believe there was another guy like that named Moses who once had a little backwoods taking care of sheep thing. Anyway, but the bottom line is God has a position and he's going to fulfill it with a chosen person. See, the many are called, but it's the ones who finish and wait for the word of the Lord, and they wait through this process. Those are the ones that will be chosen. You know, many are called, many people are invited. You know, Jesus invites all to salvation, but only a few are going to get it. Why? Not because God's going to choose you to be saved and not you. No, it's just who's going to cooperate. Really, it's not even about the Lord. It's about man's cooperation. That's why there's many and few, because many in the face of reality will choose their own culture. They'll choose their own religion. They'll choose their own way. They will choose their own comfort. They'll choose their own stuff. But it's only a few who will be like, Lord, I'm laying it all out for you, even if I look foolish and dumb. That's what the Apostle Paul said. He was like, man, you got us out here looking foolish and dumb. You know, living the way we're living and doing what we're doing. That's what Paul said, you know? And so whoever you are out there, whoever this resonates with, the Lord says you are free to go. You know, you're free to move on. If whatever the thing is, it's just, you just know in your spirit, like, it's just not working. It's not there. It's not real. It's not going to happen, you know? You know, and sometimes it's not the Lord, and then you just move on. But I'm talking like to those ones who are like, you just know that the Lord is showing you like, okay, I did lead you. You set up the banquet. You did all the things. You did everything that you were supposed to do, but it just didn't work out. So you're free to go. You can move on, you know, and God does whatever the dream was, whatever the vision is, whatever the position is, that empty spot or slots that need to be filled. God's like, those are still going to be filled. That dream is still going to come alive. That vision is still going to come to pass. It's just, it may not just be with the people you thought it was going to be with. It may not be in the place you thought it was going to be with. It may not be at the time you thought it was. All of that. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, God knows, and he has a David for you. I almost feel like this video has two titles. You are free to go. God has a David. Okay? And so I hope that blessed somebody out there. It blessed me. I tell you what, when I was eating it first. Y'all just getting leftovers. Hope you like it. Bye.